Welcome all to Dominant Mets Nation. By now, we all know Major League Baseball has royally screwed the New York Mets. And I'm telling you, the more and more I hear about this, think about this, it just drives me nuts. So, we're going to go over what the heck happened, why. We'll go over the negative impacts, some positive impacts. Let's look at what the rotation's going to look like for our series with Milwaukee and how we have to have things shape up for our now postponed 2-game doubleheader series on Monday, the day before the playoffs. Ridiculous. Okay, and also I'm going to go over there's one reason why MLB did this. One reason. But you know what, folks? By now, I know everybody's seen it. Every time I Google the Mets, MLB screws the Mets. It's not the Hurricanes' fault. It's MLB's fault. It's really crazy what MLB did. It is really insane in 2024. Right now, it is Thursday. A hurricane is upon the Atlanta area within probably a couple hours from now. We're recording right now in the morning, but this has been known for the last week to 10 days, that a hurricane was approaching the area. Didn't come out of nowhere. Did not come out of nowhere. And of course, we hope that everybody in the area stays safe. We wish everybody the best. That is the utmost important thing there. But when we get back to sports, when we get back to our New York Mets, obviously we are looking for positive outcomes. And it really makes you think. When Steve Cohen took over this franchise a couple years ago, we know Steve Cohen has been the richest owner in baseball. He has a lot of advantages. Other teams, you could say, don't appreciate the fact that Steve Cohen can spend $400 million at a moment's notice, right? At the trade deadline, it felt like we were forced to pay up more than other teams. We were forced to pay up. So Steve Cohen, over the offseason, we had to acquire a lot of free agent talent last year, might have made us go in the wrong direction. So it seemed like there was a bit of collusion to kind of skew the Mets in a negative way and make things more difficult, make our road more difficult. Now this year, David Stearns essentially took a dumpster fire last year, $300 million or $400 million team, and all of a sudden, we are a playoff contender and getting better. What a miracle story it would be if we cruise into the playoffs and do some significant damage. What a story. What a story. But folks, it looks like it's not going to be that easy. That story we still may do very well in the playoffs, but the road has been created much more difficult for us. And it didn't have to be this way. It did not have to be this way. As we know, in 2024, we have some of the best technology in the world. That this storm, like I said, was detected 10 days ago. We knew that there was a good chance this storm would go right through Atlanta. I would say 5 days ago. That gave us plenty of time to reset the schedule, where we could have played these games on Monday and Tuesday. Why, you ask? Well, Atlanta was off on Monday. The Mets were off on Monday. You could have played 2 games on Monday. You could have played 2 games on Tuesday. However you wanted to set it up, we had the luxury of playing those games on Monday and Tuesday. Now, story has it, rumor has it, it's probably a fact by now, Atlanta did not want to change the times of the game. They didn't. I don't know what their reasoning were. You could say, oh, they wanted 3 separate gate, entrances, big crowds coming to the games. But they knew that they knew that there was a hurricane coming. So, for one to say, oh, they didn't want to do a doubleheader, they wanted to capitalize on money. They knew that there weren't going to be games played, right? They weren't. So why were they so stubborn? Why were they so stubborn? But here's the deal. Irregardless of if Atlanta wanted to change the games to Monday or Tuesday, they had no choice. MLB tells Atlanta, you play the games on Monday, doubleheader. You play the game early on Tuesday. They have no choice but to do what MLB says. Or you could have played another game on Wednesday early on. There were so many damn options to get this series through. You could have played Monday, you could have played Tuesday, or you could have played Wednesday. So you could have had 3 separate gates. You could have had all these games played day after day after day. So if you don't want to have a doubleheader, you do it Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday afternoon. Boom, series set. MLB screwed the pooch royally. We are going to talk about the main reason why. Atlanta screwed the pooch. Why would Atlanta want to do this? Well, I surmise that MLB was making this road tough for the Mets. But Atlanta's not going to make anything easy for the New York Mets, right? Anything easy for the New York Mets, because this has a great negative impact on us, folks. As much as we want to look past it, and the Mets may overcome this just like they've overcome every other obstacle. But here's the deal. Here's the deal. We're going to have to play on Friday night, Saturday, Sunday in Milwaukee. All pressure-packed Game 7 like games. D-backs won last night, right? Atlanta, they're on a one-game winning streak. We're on a one-game losing streak. So a lot of negativity right now. We don't have momentum, obviously. We lost the momentum. We're coming off of a loss. And like I said, now we got to play Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, and 2 games on Monday. So that's 5 pitchers in 4 days that we have to play right before the playoffs. Right before the playoffs. And we potentially have to go to Milwaukee, bounce, fly to Atlanta, then fly potentially to San Diego or back to Milwaukee. Irregardless, it's going to be back-to-back-to-back flights in consecutive days. And it didn't have to be that way. It did not. There are enough disadvantages right off the bat for you being a wild card team the way it is. But now the way MLB has allowed this, I'll say, fiasco to present itself, this scenario to present itself, because we all know now our pitching rotation is going to be heavily affected. You have 5 starters going in 4 days. 5 starters going in 4 days, and here's the deal with Milwaukee, and I've said this on countless shows. Milwaukee is a patient team. What they do best is make the pitchers work. I repeat, what Milwaukee does best is make the pitchers work. They draw the 3rd most walks in all of baseball. Each of their batters average 4.3 pitches per at bat. That is their game. That is what they do. That is not conducive to a team like the Mets, who has to play 5 or 6 games in 5 days. You can't in 6 games in 5 days, including game 1 of the playoffs. So, and mind you, they'll be in 3 different cities. 3 different cities. On Sunday, they'll be in Milwaukee. On Monday, they'll be Atlanta. And potentially on Tuesday, they'll be in San Diego. Folks, I know it sounds like I'm doing a lot of complaining, but we're talking about human beings. Human beings. When you do your game work, when you're hitting, there is preparation, much preparation that goes into how effective you are on the field. That is known. There is no time for preparation. There is barely time for rest with all the traveling they're going to have to do. So the best case scenario is they have this wrapped up by the weekend. With the D-backs winning last night, makes it less likely. You have to hope the Padres take care of business. That is what we have to hope for. But I don't like what MLB has created. I don't like what they're created. I know what they're doing. We're gonna get to what they're doing. I understand what they're doing. I understand business. Okay. Let's get to some positive impacts. Okay, so let's get to some positive impacts. So at the end of the day, the Mets played on Tuesday. Their next ball game will be on Friday. Friday. So they get Wednesday off, they get Thursday off, and Friday will be the next game. Obviously, Milwaukee. Obviously, it would be an all important game. We're fighting for those last two playoff seedings. We lost a very big game on Tuesday. So number one benefit from shaking that loss is we had bad momentum, a lot of bad energy. The momentum obviously starts over. We get to create new momentum, and we start off with the Milwaukee series, and and that gets same thing. Number two, we were playing the Braves. We don't have to hinge our playoff. It may come down to it, but we may be able to clinch a spot before playing the Braves, right? So let's say, we can't beat the Braves. That's a mental hurdle. We don't even have to worry about that. We could essentially make the playoffs without even having to play that Braves. So, that in itself is a benefit. Number two, we were set to face Chris Sale. Chris Sale, Max Fried. The Braves rotation is going to be screwed just like our rotation. Only benefit to the Braves is they don't have to travel. Braves, I believe they're playing in Atlanta this weekend. God willing, everything's okay with the hurricane, and then they're going to stay home. So their travel is way different than our travel. So it might have been like, from Atlanta's perspective, if they wanted to throw a wrench in our success and they wanted to, make sure that they made things difficult, they might have refused MLB's suggestions to postpone the games, knowing that the Mets would have to travel all over the freaking country. That could have been a reason. But the bottom line is they're going to be in a bad pitching situation as well. We may not face Chris Sale on Monday. We may face, if they clinch the playoffs too, or it's not an impactful game for them. Let's just say the D-backs are out of it. Let's say they get swept. They may pitch. They may have somebody else pitching that's not as the Cy Young candidate. Let's put it that way. So, that's another positive. So you have momentum breaking up. We have a chance to start a new rally, gain new positive momentum. Number two, when we play the Braves, they're going to be in a situation just like us. So, these are the positives I'm scratching for. I'm reaching for positive. I'm trying to be positive. And the biggest positive that I can think of is time. It gives us extra time to recover, extra time for our guys to have a breather. It's been such a race these last 5 weeks, playing like it's a game 7 atmosphere for the last 5 weeks takes a toll on players, takes a toll. In fact, our last 4 games, we had those 3 games where we had 10 runs in a row. Well, after that, the next 4 games, we only averaged 2.75 runs. So the offense the last 4 games was not there. Gives guys like Pete Alonso, who plays every single game, every single inning. I give him credit for that. Gives him a time to take a breather. Gives these players time to have that mental break. So I would say, health and that the fact that they have a 2-day break, that is the biggest benefit. You get to rest your body physically, and you get to rest your body mentally. Because once we pick it up on Friday, it is zoom to the playoffs. And, obviously we still got to clinch. We still have a lot. Okay, so we're still going to get to the main reason MLB screwed the Mets. But let's look at some rotation possibilities for this weekend. Okay, so this is the most likely rotation that the Mets are going to do. And, I'm going to give credit to Joe DeMayo because he's the one who put this probable lineup out. But let's look at this. So on Friday, it's set up for Sean Manaea to pitch. So if Sean Manaea pitched this Friday, he would be in line for game 2 of the wild card. Then you have Peterson on Saturday, Quintana on Sunday, Severino, if necessary, would start Monday. And then if you need a second game, Magical McGill would start the second game. And that's the thing, too. MLB, if the Mets need. So that's a big contingency, if. But we're going to get to that momentarily. All right, so you have on Friday, you have Manaea, then you have Peterson, and so Manaea, Peterson, not bad, Quintana. So you have all the lefties going up against Milwaukee and Severino on Monday, and Magical McGill on Monday. And it's not bad. It's not bad. The fact of the matter is, you have, like I mentioned before, 5 starters going in 4 days. 5 starters going in 4 days. So then the next day, who's going to be your starter? Somebody would have to be on short rest, or you're going to have one of your bullpen games for a game 1 wild card. So you see why I'm actually, upset. It's not like Sango is not going to be ready. I don't believe Blackburn's going to be ready. And if Blackburn were to be ready, I wouldn't start him in that game. So I guess the best case scenario is you're hoping that we don't need the Monday series. And if we don't need the Monday series, that would push Severino back and make all things right in the world. But it doesn't, in my opinion, I don't think that's going to happen. I think there's going to be a reason to play those games. Maybe there's not a reason to play the second game, and then Magical McGill, you would push to Tuesday, and he would start your game 1. But bottom line, I see a disaster scenario. If we have to play all those 5 games, I see a potential disaster scenario. Okay, so number 1, we get to our question of the video. Why did MLB screw the Mets? What is the point? And at the end of the day, we all know baseball is a business. It is a business, and in business, it is the goal to make money, right? So obviously, we're all talking about this. Literally every single show is talking about this. You Google the Mets. It's in the New York Times, New York Post. Everybody's writing stories. MLB's getting a lot of attention. Now the season's over. That Monday is not a plain old Monday. It's a big day now. Now you have eyeballs, an extra day of eyeballs, an extra day of drama, an extra day of stories, an extra day to make bank. It is all about money. All about money. That is what it is. So, you're going to have another playoff day. You have an extra playoff day before the playoffs. And, then you have it between a rivalry, the Atlanta Braves and the New York Mets. Now, that's a matchup that has obviously a lot of playoff implications, and it is a cause for concern for each of the respective cities. But around the MLB universe, it is a cause to pay attention, to watch, and interest. So that leads to money. So MLB, you got your drama, you got your extra play of day. Great job. MLB created the extra wild card series now. But you want drama up until the last day of the season. That's what you want. That is what you want. That is when the season is at its best. That is when MLB is at its best. And if they manufacture even more drama, why wouldn't MLB do it? Well, they will do it. They can do it. And this is how they do it. And, you can't tell me any other why. They could have played this game. They could have, I gave you the example. They could have played Monday. They could have played Tuesday. They could have played Wednesday. They could have played double headers. They could have done so many different scenarios. Then they still could have had their day off on Thursday. So if you think of a day of rest, is what they were looking for. No, that's not the thing, And at the end of the day, I think that there were intentions to screw our New York Mets. Atlanta wanted to do it. MLB wanted to do it. And there's been a colluded effort in the last couple of years. I've noticed it. You know, and it's something that, a guy like David Stearns, that's why I'm happy, because he operates differently. He's smarter than the rest. He's like, okay, I don't gotta give up all my prospects. I'll make my team. I'll develop my team. Like, to guy, other guys like Epler, they were backed into a corner. But guys like David Stearns, who already the system is built against. They came and they came up in systems where they had no money. So the system was already kind of against them. So they were able to develop, they were able to adapt. So that's why guys like Stern, that's why, the Rays, ownership, they're able to do things differently. They are able to thrive in different situations. I'm hoping our resiliency, our culture, this is where great teams are born. This is where great teams are born. I made a video the other day about a dynasty. Could this be the beginning of a dynasty? And I was wholeheartedly serious, because I believe culture is everything. I believe that, we've had some pitchers having a magical year this year, and everybody was saying, oh, do you think we can duplicate that? Well, here's the thing. Or do you think we should re-sign our pitchers? I'm not really concerned about. I would love to resign Sean Manaea. It just has to be at the right price. I'm not giving him an ace-like contract at the age of 33, especially since he's only had one good year. I give him a Sonny Gray contract, 3 years, $75 million. The reason being is now we have a pitching philosophy. We have a pitching lab that develops pitchers. I am fully confident that we will find next year's Sean Manaea. We will find next year's Luis Severino, and we will pay them, contracts similar to this year, low, on the lower end, because maybe they're coming off a bad year, they haven't, or whatever the reason may be. We got good market, good value for these guys, because we knew they had potential, but they were coming off a down year. We will find next year's Manaea. We'll find next year's Severino. We will develop them, because we have a pitching philosophy now. We have a pitching philosophy, a pitching lab, and we have a bunch of young, talented players who are hungry to win, who have the right attitude. You see guys this year who make you awful excited. The Acuñas, the Vientoses, Alvarez. I mean, that's a great young core right there. And don't forget about guys like Mauricio, who I predicted would have a monumental year. He's going to come back with a vengeance, a 6'3" switch hitting middle infielder. And everybody was talking about Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso. My theory, and it holds to this. We're talking about who would play first base. I wouldn't. Vientos, Mauricio. This is what I keep thinking in my head. I don't know who you would move to first base, who you would move to third. Mauricio coming off that surgery, that knee surgery. But I fully believe Stearns will give Mauricio that Vientos-like opportunity. So, Alonso will, if he wants to play with the Mets, he will have to take a contract of our liking, either that 1 year prove-it deal or a value contract that is that reflects his current value and the value of diminishing returns, meaning that Stearns is not going to be a prisoner of the moment. What he will do is look at, if I give you a 4 or 5 year contract, how much production will I project when Pete is 31, 32, 33, 34? And right now Pete is 29, and his production, you cannot deny it, has declined. So Stearns and other MLB executives, they will say, hey, he's about to be 30. His production has already declined. We're going to make a contract offer that reflects where we think he's going to go. So, but, we do have young talent. So I just talked about our infield talent: Alvarez, Vientos, Acuña, Mauricio. Then you add guys like Jet Williams, and the outfield, you go to Drew Gilbert. You got those two guys. They are on the cusp of coming up as well. Next year, we have, I feel bad that we have Christian Scott on the bench, on the sidelines, but still, we can make hay with what we have. Brandon Sprout is the third best pitching prospect in all of baseball. This guy is, sky's the limit with him. He could be in the rotation. Senga, we obviously know. We have Peterson, who's had a great bounce back year. Magical McGill, if he continues to take strides, that's four guys right there. And then there's other guys. I mean, if you decide to sign a Sean Manaea back or a Luis Severino, I believe Quintana's a free agent. But if you decide to sign a guy like that for back and depth. And then, if you want to go up the top of the market, there are options there. Corbin Burns, Max Fried. Those are two of the top. Blake Snell, he's another top guy. I don't know if you want to go there. I predict no, but you never know. You never know. But I just want to let you know, we have a great future in front of us. The Mets have been coming back and surprising us this whole year. So why not now? Finish, seal the deal. Let's make this magical run. Let's prove everybody wrong. Let's finish. Let's take care of business. Let's finish what we started. All right, folks, that's my opinions. I wish everybody well. I wish everybody safety. Fans, in Florida, the Panhandle, Georgia, please be safe. And then I know the storm's going to be traveling, I think, up to North Carolina. So whoever is in the path of the storm, we wish you all the best. All right. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Like, subscribe, really helps our channel as well. Have a great one.